No, parodia de Naruto. It's an old
Thank you.
tiene como
I will be 16 on Monday.
Nerd ears?
Nerd ears, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I had a question, and I was also going to ask for an impression. Let's start with the question.
Yeah.
Since people have covered several other things, I was going to ask, how do you feel when a few years ago you basically went a little bit retro in the anime scene when you had the role to when they recasted the rest of the Red Phoenix years. What was that like?
What was that like?
Since he was a pretty important figure in the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew of Slayers when I worked on it, but I still haven't seen the original series. I know it's one of Crispin Freeman's highlights. But I didn't know the character at all, so really, in those instances, I have to put all my faith in the director, who does know the series.
Yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he was the one who, he also played Celis, and he recast it since David was in the project anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. And anyway, so, was it an interesting experience at least?
Yeah, definitely. I will say, I mean, I won't say that role, like, it wasn't like I got struck by lightning for that one in particular, but I don't work on as much anime as I used to. The industry's gone through a lot of changes. There was a huge bubble that burst, got huge in the 80s and the 90s, and then and it used to... Yeah, and a lot of it used to be done in Los... No, I know. They're all saving money. They're trying to save money to make this stuff happen. A lot of dubs used to happen in LA, now almost none do. So when I get to work on it, it's like going to the gym. I will say, he asked the question before, does anyone scoff at voiceover? And they don't generally, but they do for the anime industry, because, I mean, mainly it doesn't pay as well as some of the other ones. That's the main reason. But people think, dubbing, what is that? But those of us who work a lot in dubbing know that it's the, and I work on original animation, I work in games, I do commercials. It's the hardest thing to do, because you're matching pre-existing picture. You have to start when it starts and then pause when it pauses, but hopefully not sound like bad Shatner acting. I mean, there's good Shatner acting, so it's like going to the gym for me. So anytime I go back to it, I know that right. It's like, well, it's working on it. It's honing my skills.
Okay, well, in impressions, some people have asked you for some people have asked you for gaming-related stuff. I was gonna ask for what to me was a height of hilarity, Sengoku Basara. Because the game's really funny, at least to me. And I was hoping for one of two choices. Either maybe you trying to impersonate what Ieyasu would sound like if he was making fun of Troy Baker's Mitsunari impressions of him going crazy, Ieyasu! What Ieyasu would sound like, making fun of that. Or maybe Ieyasu just in a very solemn voice saying, how there's no greater love between that of a young warlord and his samurai cyborg.
Okay.
Oh boy, that was hard to track, but I will say, as Ieyasu, I think that Mitsunari wears, and Troy Baker as well, wears a lot of scarves, really likes purple, and rocks a fedora pretty well.
What would he sound like? Ieyasu trying to...
He just sounds like me, very excited. You're gonna have to feed me lines. I don't.
Like for example, when Troy Baker was doing the insane Ieyasu kind of thing. When come again, why do you get why we keep getting in my way? He doesn't remember. All those crazy lines he had. If
a writer writes a script, puts it on paper in front of me, and then I read it.
Yeah, I'm not very good. I'm more suggesting like a prompt.
I'm brain farting, I'm sorry. Here's a free Gollum impression. Sorry, that's all I got. I got nothing.
Just a quick question. What was your favorite scene in Darksiders?
La última. The last one. The last one. You're not alone.
The ending is amazing.
We're going to say hi, Viale.
Okay.
Okay.
I love you.
I have a blanket statement for all of you. I love you all. Mostly equally. There's two people in here, I won't say who I love a little bit more.
I was gonna ask you, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you in a convention or any gathering?
Several years ago, I was walking with my wife at Anime Expo, and a fangirl, who is now in the industry actually, came running up to us, and my wife Amy had never been to, who you'll know from, if anyone's watched Cookie, ask my wife, to the voice of Shirley. But she's good.
We know.
Amy had not been to too many conventions or anything. She didn't know the fervor that we see at the conventions. And some girl came up with a bag of gifts for me. There was a Shakespeare doll, but she's like, here's a fangirl paddle. And it was a stick with a hand on it. She's like, you can slap the fingers away. And then we walked away, and Amy was like, what was that? What was that? What? Sure.
I played the game StarCraft 2. I heard you were the ghost in that. Yeah. And I really love the line when they die. The ghost says, "Never say die."
Never say die.
Thank you.
Mi novio probablemente sabe what they're talking about.
Could you, I'm sorry, tilt the mic a little bit down so I can hear you. I heard theater days, but that's it so far.
Yeah, back in the theater days, you're doing like the traditional Shakespeare by night, working at a restaurant by day sort of thing.
Yes.
You'd be doing like successful voice acting sort of
No, I couldn't have. I just posted a picture on my private, not my public, private Facebook page a couple days ago with me in a mocap suit. With my name printed on my head, and my name like Velcro to my chest. And what it said, the caption was, I could never have predicted this life. I never could have. I mean, I started out, I was going to be a serious actor. I am a serious actor, I think. But I did plays for a long time, and I was like, I'm going to be on Broadway, and I'm going to be on off-Broadway, and I'm going to be a starring artist and never make any money. Which you can do by working in the theater, because it doesn't really, it bills as well. But I was a janitor for theater spaces. I did data entry. I did all kinds of jobs, making nothing. And I wasn't a geek, but I never knew that I'd be able to take the chocolate and mix it with a peanut butter and make a Reese's Pieces out of it. I did a play called The Cripple of Inishmaan in Salt Lake City when I was 23, just out of school, at a 2,000-seat theater. And a brilliant play, brilliant writer, Martin McDonough. I was extremely happy to be there, but at night I was going home and playing Resident Evil 2 after rehearsals. And it was a great, it was foreshadowing for the future. I just had no idea. Yes.
I want you to do a Yahweh.
No, not again. They just never go away.
Stop chasing Sasuke, just choose me.
Will you please, stop chasing. That's all. Choose me.
I love you more.
Está recording con su pies, mira.
San Coffin and San what now? Burial? Okay, I'll put the mic down. Sand coffin! Sand burial! I yell a lot. I yell a lot in my business now. What? Sandwich! Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Oh,
What's happening?
Souvenir. That's not crazy, fangirl moment at all. Thank you. What would have been crazy is if you sprang at me from behind and tried to shove it in my ear or something.
don't know if you're correct. You did the voice in Final Fantasy 13 to Kaya's Ballad.
Yes.
How was the experience of doing that character?
Were you here 10 minutes ago? It was a highlight of my career. I'm going to truncate what I told everyone 10 minutes ago, which was that I grew up gaming. I love Final Fantasy 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. That's where I fell off. I just didn't have time. Yeah. But I love Final Fantasy, you know, as a younger actor, so it was, you know, sort of a feather in my cap. And then I had no idea what was going on, and he wears go-go boots.
Just be nice.
Hello.
I was wondering, most of your roles are deep voices.
Can you use enough with children?
Oh, what? Is there...
I don't even...
14-year-old Liam would never believe that I'm doing what I'm doing. Not only because it's a cool job, but because I got pushed into lockers. I was on the drama club. I was terrible. I am terrible at sports. And I was just like a little wiener who got pushed around. So the idea now that I play characters like War and Darksiders, or Asura and Asura's Wrath, or Caius, or all these guys, it's I still have a problem believing it now myself. I'm, you know, really? Everyone likes this? It's okay. I got my start in voiceover, and I feel much more at home, I guess, playing Endrance or Lloyd, that kind of stuff. That feels right to me because I'm a doofus. I don't know. I just like to play in the sandbox.
Well, Liam, we've done... Just turn a whole bunch of people away. All right, one last one.
Well, first off, I'll try to be fast. Well, first off, I have newfound respect for you for the whole Sasuke Naruto thing. Secondly, this is actually a serious question, not like my other one.
Right.
What does it feel like the characterization of having to do this psychotic murder and all of a sudden he has this really awkward relationship with his siblings and is trying to be like different now? I'm talking about God obviously, but I just want to know how it feels like to characterize all of that.
It feels good, is the short answer, because all of us, everyone in this room, you know, I'm joking around up here and everyone's in a good mood, but we all have a darker side. Everyone gets stuck in traffic and wants to explode the 10 cars in front of them. We don't always get what we want, and we can be petty and spiteful and nasty, and I've got that in me, and so do you, and so, you know, we don't all get a forum to let that shiznit out. So I like to do it, honestly.
William, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for coming to visit us here in Puerto Rico. Enjoy the rest of your stay here with us. Enjoy the convention, enjoy Puerto Rico, and we'd be very happy to have you back in the future.
Thank you. It is sincerely my great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.